last night, Brad, Darryn Peterson, he's like Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. We had this conversation last week, and we had a couple conversations before as it was kind of brewing and brewing. Guy that is up top the NBA draft board for so many teams, mock drafts. He's projected to be the number one pick, the betting odds. He's a pretty big favorite to be the number one overall pick. He's having a monster season with Kansas when he plays. He has played in just over half the games this season, though. The cramping issues, the soft muscle tissue issues, as you always like to say. You know, infamously, the biggest issue of the season for me, what really got me hot about this situation, was 2 weeks ago, 10 minutes before tip-off against number one Arizona. He bangs out on the game, flu-like symptoms, and they end up beating Arizona anyway. But we had a debate. Can't imagine Bill Self is okay with this. Can't imagine that he was happy about agreeing to these terms. They're paying this kid a couple $1 million. It's just going to be the one season. He's going to move on to the NBA. You know, we're talking about team rotations. How are they going to do this in March? And yesterday, he scores 20 points in the first half. They're blowing out Oklahoma State on the road. He hits a three-pointer in the first couple of minutes of the second half and signals over to Bill Self basically to sub him out. I'm coming out of the game. That's essentially what he did. Didn't play the rest of the game after he got subbed out with 17 minutes left to go. Kansas ends up winning. But, you know, it's here we go again. Here we go again with Darryn Peterson. And we pose the question, is this guy really the number one pick? You know, this happens last night, too, while Darius Avecuff plays all 50 minutes in a double overtime game in Alabama versus Arkansas. And Darryn Peterson can't be bothered to play more than 18 minutes in their win against OK State. And so the conversation is getting more intense. It's getting more intense. And now we've all been wondering, how does Bill Self feel about this? Well, he's finally starting to speak up, and I can't imagine he's anything other than fed up. This is what Bill Self had to say yesterday postgame when asked about Darryn Peterson.
We've had it more than a couple of times, and I didn't anticipate that tonight at all. I thought he was good to go, but obviously we only got 18 minutes out of him, and you know, that's disappointing because he could have had a really big night. But you know, one thing about it is it's happened often enough that our guys have learned to play without him, even though that's not the way we want to play. But that's certainly something that we're not unaccustomed to, you know, right now.
We've learned how to play without him. I think Bill Self has hit his limit, Brad, and I think this is getting out of control. I think he doesn't necessarily want to implode his season, throw this star player under the bus, kick him off. They're not going to kick him off the team, but there's got to be conversations being had right now between Bill Self, Darryn Peterson, Darryn Peterson's parents, his family, his agent, whoever's advising him, and they've got to be saying enough is enough. We've got a month left to go in the season. His ass has to play. His ass has to play. And I hope all the NBA teams are taking notice here, because I got to be honest, Brad, there is nobody that I think deserves to slide more in a draft in recent memory than Darryn Peterson. He's telling us, I don't care about playing. I don't care about winning a championship. As long as I look good and get my numbers, I only need to play half the game and I'm good. I just don't understand how NBA teams can see that in this historic loaded draft class and just be like, yeah, well, no problem. We're going to take that kid. We're not going to have any issues at all. Enough is enough.
Yeah, it's like a breach of contract issue, right? He's still a pro. He's still making probably millions of dollars. And if he were trying to pull this off in the NBA, he is going to be between a rock and a hard place in short order. I mean, he's not going to be on a roster at all. Like, if you're an NBA GM, how in the world are you contemplating spending the number one overall draft pick on a guy that's load managing right now in college basketball? No, I couldn't do that. You mentioned Avecuff last night. That game was unbelievable. It might have been the game of the year. Double overtime game. Zip, 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 up and down between Alabama and Arkansas. And he played all 50 minutes. And he dropped 49 points. Avecuff could have had that kind of game last night. I know they won in convincing fashion against the Cowpokes. But still, dude, you can't pull yourself out of the game with considerable amount of time left, with the game still hanging in the balance, and think it's going to be A-okay. Think everything's going to be kosher. Think it's going to be, just fine. I give credit to Self. If that were me in that situation, I would have gotten loud. I would have gotten really pissed off. I might have said some, unsavory, unnecessary things, but I might have been speaking from emotion. He kept that in check. He definitely had a more placid perspective, but he was spot on. He's like, yeah, I was disappointed. So, yeah, it is starting to accumulate right now. So, the question I have is this. It's like, when is this going to crop up again? Now, you look at the games upcoming. Cincinnati, they should be able to go out there with or without Darryn Peterson and beat this Bearcats team at home. Then they follow with Houston. That's an extraordinarily meaningful game for seeding purposes. Houston is still pushing and prying to try to get on the number 1 seed line. Kansas right now is the number 3 seed with an opportunity to play themselves up to a number 2 seed. That game has enormous weight. The following game at Arizona, same deal. Also has enormous weight. Arizona right now on the 1 seed line. Kansas with an opportunity in a major Q1 game to move up. And then at Arizona State, a trip up spot. See Texas Tech recently. And, they lost JT Toppin sadly in that game. And then home against Kansas State. When is indeed enough is enough? Does he pull this charade during the Big 12 tournament when they're trying to jockeying for seeding power or playing for a championship and a banner in the rafters? Is he going to pull this in the NCAA tournament, Pat? When it's in the first round, the second round, maybe deeper if they're lucky enough to get that far. Oh, coach, I got cramps. I don't know if I can go. We're up 10. We're up 10 right now on Utah State, and there's still 7 minutes left. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And the other question I have about this situation, Pat, is this. Was there an agreement before the season began between Bill Self and Darryn Peterson himself or Darryn Peterson's people of, he calls the shots, coach. If he wants to pull himself out, you got to honor it. You got to respect it. That's the question that I have is he entirely responsible for dictating the tone, for dictating the decision of whether or not he should stay in the game or pull himself out? I don't know, but it's just a bat bleeping crazy situation. And Bill Self should be frustrated no matter where he lies in this whole dilemma.
I just it's getting to the point where people are going to act shocked when this happens in the NCAA tournament, and you shouldn't be. Just know that this is coming. Oh, we get to the NCAA tournament, and they're in the first round or in the second round, and they're up by, like you said, they're up by 12, and he pulls himself out of a game. We're going to act shocked then. All of a sudden, the other team they're playing goes on a run and cuts it to a 3-point game with 5 minutes to go. And then, hey, Darryn, let's go. Get back on the court here. And just even if he doesn't take himself out for the game, even if he does it for a little bit of a stretch here, he signals over, hey, coach, I need a couple minutes here. What is Bill Self going to do? No, stay on the court and then risk having an on-court meltdown or some kind of a disagreement or just palpable tension that just ruins this. I give the rest of the Kansas team, I give Bill Self credit that this has not ruined the vibe and the chemistry of the team yet. But man, don't be shocked this happens in the NCAA tournament because me, Brad, maybe you, a lot of other people, we're going to be saying, I told you so. And all of a sudden the rest of the country takes notice, follows Kansas, gets in, sees Darryn Peterson, and then he pulls this stunt in a tournament game and be like, oh my God, how did this happen? It's been happening all year long. We think he's going to stop just because the NCAA tournament. You really think he cares about winning a championship that much? He's proven all season he doesn't care.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Right now he's just collecting a check. That's what it seems like to me. He's not giving a maximized effort. Meanwhile, AJ DeBonsa is out there working his ass off because BYU needs him right now because Richie Saunders is out for the season. He's the projected widely to be the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft upcoming. There's a little bit of a discussion debate there on whether that's going to be true, but DeBonsa is stepping up in that situation, taking more responsibilities onto his back, and he is going to try to He's going to try to carry BYU along with Robert Wright to a high seed come tournament time. Because that's what it's all about. You should give your best effort. That's what you agreed on. You came in, you got a scholarship, you're getting paid. And that's the thing I keep coming back to. They are getting paid. This isn't amateur sports anymore. Step up, Darryn Peterson.